What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to Call It in the Ring, a wrestling recap and discussion show with yours truly, Marcus Stewart, talking about last night's Smackdown Live, the August 7th show of the year 2018, and it's emanating from Orlando, Florida, continuing the WWE's recent tour through my home state, and it's also the penultimate Smackdown before SummerSlam next Sunday. Let's jump right to it. So, we kicked off the show with Randy Orton making his way to the ring, and Randy has a, this is something that's been bugging me for a while. You know that his hoodie that he's been wearing, lately is like, yeah, it's a hoodie, right? Or jacket, whatever. In the front, I keep thinking that it's a scarf, because the way that he has it cut, basically it's cut really thin. He's got really big armholes. So like the front part of it is, it's barely there. So it honestly, if you look at Orton straight on as he's coming down the ramp, it looks like he's wearing a scarf. And I keep thinking that, and it keeps throwing me off. Like, why is Randy wearing a scarf? It's like Chris Jericho or Alberto Del Rio. Maybe he should wear a scarf. Maybe if he wore like a snake around his neck, like those like those carnival snakes. You can go to like a fair, and they have those like huge like stuffed snakes that you could win. I say could win because it's very hard. Carnival games are traditionally kind of BS, but on paper you could win one of those. Randy, on the other hand, did not win one. He just beat someone up and took it. Probably because the fans put the carny on a pedestal, which is what he's doing right now to everyone's fan favorites. He came out, he pretty much cut the same promo he cut the week before about how he is targeting everyone that we hold dear, and that he is that we don't respect him despite him being a multi-time world champion and has pretty much won everything there is to win in the company. We still don't show him the respect that he feels that he deserves. He kind of, something I thought of was that he talks about last week when he attacked Jeff Hardy and erased the Enigma, and he stripped Jeff of everything that he stripped him of his identity, and it made me think that you could say that he deleted Jeff. It's kind of a similar concept. If you remember, or if you're familiar with, ding, 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 history time. If you remember TNA, when Jeff and Matt Hardy were in TNA just a couple of years ago, in 2016, that's how the broken Matt Hardy stuff got started, with Matt transforming into his broken character and wanting to delete Jeff, which, when he says that, it just means that he tried to strip Jeff of everything that made Jeff Jeff. So, took away his music, his entrance, all that stuff, and Jeff was rendered obsolete. So in a sense, Randy is trying to render Jeff obsolete, which I thought was kind of interesting. Just the wording of what he was saying. It's like, oh, it's like Jeff's been there. He knows what this is like. No Jeff tonight. He is I don't know what the actual explanation is. He just wasn't here tonight. Good promo from Randy. Again, heel Randy is the best Randy. And, he tells us that he's going to be so violent that we're going to want to change the channel. And I was like, okay, Randy Orton, the ratings killer, on top of the Legends killer as well. Good to know. Backstage, we see Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. And Becky explains that, she's her predicament of, I'm happy to see you succeed, Charlotte. However, your success is also hurting me because, I had a one-on-one match with Carmella, which was great for the title at SummerSlam. But with you defeating her last week and getting added to the match, that adds, another hurdle I have to climb. But the two, are friendly and they seem to be on the same page. Becky at one point straight up says, hey, we're not Sasha and Bayley, which I guess means that they're Sasha and Bayley are technically on the same terms right now as well, but I don't know, are they, I guess, more successful right now? I mean, I guess they kind of are. They're in the title picture, and Sasha and Bayley are not. I don't know. So this leads to our first match of the night. Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair taking on the Iconics. That is the duo of Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Carmella is on commentary. The Iconics come out and cut their usual pre-match promo, just ripping on Charlotte and Becky. With the crowd, a very hot crowd tonight, by the way. Orlando was pretty excited for this show. Starting a big old boring chant to the Iconics as they're cutting their promo, which I thought was kind of funny. There was one point where, I don't remember which one of them said it, but one of the Iconics said that was making fun of Becky and saying that she's always the bridesmaid, but never the champ. Except, which I was like, oh, but Becky has been the champ. In fact, she was the first Smackdown Women's Champion. So I was like, oh, okay, that jab is not accurate, but whatever. But either way, this match wasn't that long. It was fine. Charlotte picked up the win via the figure 8. Nothing, no post-match shenanigans or anything like that. Becky and Charlotte are super cool. Carmella is ready for both of them. This takes us backstage where we have the New Day being interviewed by Renee Young. However, Kofi Kingston decides to give Renee a break for the night and do the interview himself. And he puts on a suit, grabs a nice wig, and he takes on the persona of, and I think I got the name right, of Kramer Kenyon, who pretty much is just him parodying the nerdy reporter, where he's just like, well, hey, New Day, how are you gonna defeat the Bar tonight to get into the SummerSlam championship match? I can't believe this. This is, wow, we can't, pancakes, I say. It was pretty funny. Kofi does a good impression, and this was just a cute, funny little promo and overall. This segues to another backstage segment, which SmackDown's been doing a lot of these promos last couple weeks, where we see Miz. He's still on the set of Miz and Mrs. as he was last week, and he confirms, which I believe it was confirmed earlier in the day, but he confirms it on television, that he will face Bryan at SummerSlam, and that he will basically end Bryan. But we're going to see more of Miz later, because he's going to have like not a sit down, but he's going to be in an interview with Byron Saxton, an exclusive interview. But he tells us, like, yes, I will take on Bryan at SummerSlam and end him. We see Flair and Becky Lynch backstage, and they're very happy about their victory. However, Becky reminds Charlotte that they will be opponents very soon, and Charlotte is like, bring it on. And they both have, feel like, a semi-tense stare down. AJ Styles makes his way to the ring. And he cuts a very, very passionate promo about his family in response to Samoa Joe calling him out last week for what he believes is AJ being a bad father by being more focused on keeping the WWE Championship, and that he prefers to be on the road rather than be at home. AJ comes out, pretty much says that's nonsense. Is upset at Joe, saying that Joe, for one, like before they ever came to WWE, they were sharing cockroach-infested hotel rooms, and that Joe knows his wife and his kids. So the fact that he would say that pisses him off, and that he just threw away a friendship with just one comment or one or two comments, and that Joe will be lucky to walk out of SummerSlam at all, while AJ will be walking out as champion. And Joe is watching in the back, just chuckling, just having his evil mustache twirling a chuckle. It looked like he had a black eye too, like nice little shiner under his eye. Don't know what that's about, but this was a great little speech from AJ. I'm fired up for this match. I would assume next week, given that it's the final show before SummerSlam, maybe we'll see these two face to face, and I would like to see them verbally trade some barbs with each other. But we'll see. Nothing confirmed on that end. Rusev is backstage with Lana, and he promises that unlike last week, he will be there for Lana as she has her rematch with Zelina Vega. Aiden English comes up and tries to apologize once again, though this time Rusev accepts his apology, and all is right with the world. Aiden is very excited, and then he offers his services. He's like, hey, I should come out with you guys tonight. And Rusev's like, whoa, slow it down, cowboy. Yes, we forgive you, but we think it might be best if you stay put. If you just see that chair over there, maybe just kind of sit your happy ass down somewhere. But we forgive you. Aiden is a little disappointed at that. That brings us to the match, Lana versus Zelina Vega. Again, this is Zelina picked up the win last week due to Aiden accidentally costing Lana the match. And, this match was pretty much not the exact same, but, similar to last week's match. Andrade Cien Almas, of course, was out there with his girl Zelina. He tries to interfere in the match. Rusev interjects himself and starts beating up Andrade. They get into a big fight. Eventually, Rusev gets taken down, and then it looks like Andrade might be trying to interfere with Lana, but in any case, Aiden comes out and hits one hell of a spear. Like, he kind of spears Andrade, but not on the floor. Like, he spears him upwards into the ropes. And as he's doing this, Lana is climbing the turnbuckle because she has Zelina down, and whatever she was going to do, Aiden knocks Andrade into the ropes, causing Lana to lose her balance. She takes a tumble. Zelina is able to capitalize and pick up the win. And once again, Aiden has cost Rusev Day a match. He is so upset with himself. He doesn't know what to do. Lana and Rusev are in the ring. They're not too pleased. What's going to happen here? Because both of these, or all three of these guys are technically faces. And would you... But Rusev is the hot act, so it could go like, does Aiden turn because he's like, I tried to help and you guys spurned my friendship, like he kind of goes the delusional route, even though Aiden English as any sort of threat to Rusev is laughable? Or do you have Rusev turn, even though the fans have been wanting to cheer him for a while, and I think he should kind of stay on this kind of face run that he's on right now. And it would make sense because, again, like, I would never buy Aiden as any kind of threat to Rusev. So at least if Aiden was the face, he'd have like the underdog support. I don't know. I'm curious to see where this goes, or maybe it doesn't go them having a match against each other. Who knows? But yep, just more development on that end. We'll see if this runs to SummerSlam at all. Shinsuke Nakamura is being interviewed by Renee Young and doesn't think much about Jeff Hardy, who is getting another rematch for his U.S. title at SummerSlam. This brings up R-Truth and Ty Dillinger, of all people. And R-Truth has a funny moment where he tells Nakamura that he wants to fight for the U.S. title at SummerSlam. And Nakamura's pretty much like, why? Like, how are you going to do that? And Truth says that he'll do it the same way everyone else has been getting title matches, by pinning Carmella, which I thought was a pretty funny line because, Carmella, of course, has been pinned. The reason that Becky and Charlotte are challenging Carmella for the title is because they both pinned her. And maybe that's like a weird, almost inadvertent jab at the fact that Carmella loses a lot as a champion, though she's not alone. WWE has a really bad habit of setting up title matches by having the champion get pinned in non-title matches, but I don't know if they're directly referencing that, but regardless, R-Truth wants a match with Shinsuke that night. He is obliged later on. Ty Dillinger was just kind of there. His window dressing. This brings up to our interview with The Miz, hosted by Byron Saxton, who is in the ring. Once again, Miz, of course, is still on the set of Miz and Mrs., so he's on the Titantron. And Miz just, Byron, it's going to be tough to say, Brian and Byron. Byron Saxton, the commentator, is asking Miz about, why are you there? Are you afraid of Daniel Bryan? Miz, of course, denies this and goes into one of his patented great rants about how this saga needs to come to an end and how for the last 8 years, Bryan has been riding his coattails while Miz has barely thought about Bryan because he was too busy being success. But at SummerSlam, he's going to prove that he is not soft and that he will, he's better than Bryan. And then surprisingly, as he's, flying off the handle here, Bryan attacks him. Like he found the secret portal that led to the Miz and Mrs. set. Miz's security team does a terrible job of trying to stop a 5'9" man. Miz should get better security, basically. Brian dispatches of them pretty easily, but they do serve as a decent distraction because Miz sneaks up with a vase with flowers and smashes it behind the back of Brian's head or his back, sending him down and allowing Miz to escape. Brian gets up surprisingly quick after getting a glass thing shattered on him. Like he's down for a bit, but by the time Miz and his terrible security team make a hasty retreat, Brian is back on his feet and he's mad and he goes after them. Unfortunately, we don't see a follow up to this. I was hoping we could maybe see Brian chasing them. Maybe it could have turned into like the Hollywood backlot chase between Roddy Piper and Goldust at WrestleMania 12. We just see over like they get into a legit car chase back to the arena and we just get like the O.J. Simpson like highway chase helicopter footage of them just trying to like Brian pursuing Miz. Maybe they just drive all the way to SummerSlam. That could have been good, but still excited for that match. Should be good. Hopefully it gets the time that it needs since SummerSlam has 27 matches on it. So we bring up Shinsuke Nakamura versus R-Truth. Non-title match, of course. Corey Graves had a great line during R-Truth's rap to the ring saying that somehow he can understand the lyrics of Nakamura's theme song, which is that Japanese rap song that I think is really good. Somehow he can understand what that means better than he can understand Truth's lyrics, which I thought was pretty funny. This match was, what you would expect between Shinsuke Nakamura and R-Truth in terms of like Shinsuke defeating Truth in rather effortless fashion, though it was pretty entertaining while it lasted. It's nice to see Shinsuke picking up wins. Is this his first match, I believe, since he won the U.S. title? Because he's kind of just been attacking Jeff. I mean, well, I guess it's not his first match because he had the first rematch against Jeff where Randy tried to rip Jeff's ear off. But I don't know. I feel like we haven't seen Shinsuke competing as much as I would like. But yeah, this is just a reminder that he is very dangerous and will hit a knee to your face if you cross him. The Bludgeon Brothers are ready for whoever wins the tag title tournament. This leads to them having a 2-on-3 handicap match against 3 jobbers that apparently were going by the name 3SK. I don't remember if the commentators explained what 3SK meant, but Corey kind of had a field day making fun of these guys because they all looked like WWE 2K creative wrestlers, which most jobbers kind of do. He called one of them like a Roman Reigns starter kit because they had like a kind of like a Samoan E arm tattoo. Another guy had a short guy had a singlet, and he's like, oh, like Taz Jr. One guy, the third guy, kind of looked like a Russian version of Santino Marella. Like pretty much picture Santino in his singlet and all that stuff, but just with Russian colors. That's what he reminded me of. But and I always wonder, one guy had a bleached beard, like a white beard, but not like a natural white, like it's clearly bleached beard. And I was like, who does that? And it looked awful. And I always wonder when you have these jobbers, because so many of them look ridiculous, like absurd, like they look like fake wrestlers, which is a weird thing to say. But yeah, like I said, like they look like some kids created wrestlers in a video game. And I wonder if that is by design, because like I was like, there's no way that whatever independent promotion these guys come from, like, do they really like that's their look? Or does WWE, because they're jobbers, kind of like, hey, we need you to look super stupid because you're just enhancement guys or whatever. We want to emphasize that you guys are like jokes compared to our guys. I wonder, because they just look so absurd that I often wonder, like, there's no way they think that's cool unless they have some sort of gimmick on the indies that I'm just not aware of. But I don't know, interesting food for thought there. This brings us to our main event. The New Day versus The Bar. This is the finals for the Smackdown Tag Team Championship Tournament. The winner will challenge the Brothers Bludgeon, but it's the Bludgeon Brothers, though the Brothers Bludgeon isn't a bad name either. It's like the Brothers Grimm, but they're not Grimm. They're bludgeon. They bludgeon things, I guess. Could be a cool name. Anyways, for New Day, this was the Kofi and Big E preset which kind of, it's weird. I've always thought like when New Day, because there's three of them, but only two can wrestle in a tag match if it's a regular tag, of course. And I always picture them having like kind of like fighting game style, like preset rosters, like Marvel vs. Capcom, where you can like save the team setups that you want. Like, I don't know why, like I have this imagery in my head of like New Day deciding like, all right, who's gonna wrestle who, and they go like, okay, let's put preset A, which is the Kofi Big E combination, or maybe we should do preset B of the Kofi and Xavier combination, and so on. Maybe because they're all super into video games, but good God, what a match this was! Both of these teams are very good, and they've had really good matches in the past, but I was not expecting this match to be the barn burner that it was. The slobber knocker, to steal a line from GR. The rocket buster, to steal a line from Taz. The I need one. The mountain cluster. That's my new term for what a crazy thing that this is. A mountain cluster of a match. This lasted a really long time, and this was just great tag team wrestling. The Bar used a lot of cool double team moves. At one point, they did a superplex top rope knee combo where like Cesaro superplexed, I think it was Kofi, or one of them, and then Sheamus, who was waiting on the top rope, hit a top rope knee. I think that was a new one from them. They at one point they caught Kofi's Trouble in Paradise and then turned that into a double backbreaker on their knees, like a double Irish curse, basically, which is Sheamus's backbreaker. Big E got isolated for a portion of the match where he's just being worked on, because Kofi got taken out at ringside for some good drama. Kofi hit like a tornado DDT off the barricade on the floor to one of them. And this was just a great back and forth match, and I did not expect this to honestly be one of the best TV matches of the year so far. It was that good. And the ending was pretty dramatic, where Big E was trapped in a couple of Cesaro submissions. Like, he had him in a sharpshooter for a while, but he managed to escape. And then he transitioned into the crossface and had Big E in it for a good while. And this might have been a little bit of a stretch with Big E holding on, or not only holding on, but managing to lift Cesaro, with Cesaro still not releasing the crossface, but Big E just powering him off the mat and carrying him. Again, Cesaro still holding on, and then reversing the crossface into the midnight hour position. So he throws him over his shoulder, allowing Kofi to hit the midnight hour, and that is what got the New Day to win. But my God, what a match. By God. This was a good match. I recommend seeking it out. Again, I'm a little disappointed because I've said that I would have liked to see the Bar take on the Bludgeon Brothers, but New Day's fine, and New Day, if they get the time at SummerSlam, which hopefully, given how stacked that card is, just in terms of the sheer number of matches, I have my doubts, but I think anyone that's been watching both teams long enough know that both of those teams are fully capable of tearing it down the way that New Day and the Bar did here. So well done. Hats off to both teams. This was a really great main event. The crowd was super hot and really into it, especially towards the latter half of it. And yeah, we'll see what happens at SummerSlam. I don't expect a New Day to win, but stranger things have happened. So that wraps up SmackDown Live this week. Good show. More wrestling than last week. That main event alone kind of made up for last week's lack of wrestling. We got some storyline progression. At this point, SummerSlam, the card is pretty much set. Especially now that the tournament's done and we know who's challenging the Bludgeon Brothers. But I don't think there's any other matches that are not confirmed yet at this point. I think all the stories have gotten to that point of confirming all their matches, because like Miz and Bryan were the last holdouts. But again, SmackDown just being an hour shorter and just having more interesting storylines, and then when the wrestling is as good as that main event, it makes for an easier watch than Monday Night Raw. And I think this was another solid show from them. So that wraps up another episode of Call It in the Ring. Once again, if you want to listen and subscribe on iTunes, you can find this show. Just search Marcus Writes About Games and you can download and subscribe. You can also do the same on Podbean. Same thing, Marcus Writes About Games. And be sure to indulge in the holy trinity of social media with this video. And that by that I mean like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends that Call It in the Ring is the best thing going in the world of professional wrestling. Please, please spread the gossip. But enough of my hyperbole. Thanks for listening, guys. I will see you next Tuesday for Monday Night Raw. And until then, have a great day. Bye-bye.